Ford and Toyota dealerships serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health. And JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you. For the record. Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Ort Connor.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, O land of soft, fresh breezes and verdant trees so fair. Today is Monday, the 21st day of March 2022, right here in the Cayman Islands. I hope and I trust that everyone had a restful, peaceful, enjoyable weekend. Those of you who are on the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, whether you're a pedestrian, a cyclist, or operating any type of motorized vehicle, we urge you to please be extremely cautious. Ensure that you observe the rules of the road. Remember, the life you save may be your own. Traffic is likely to be slightly different this morning on the waterfront, as well as we welcome back our first cruise ship in about 2 years into the Cayman Islands. So folks, get accustomed to things again. We hope that everything goes well, and in a few weeks we will see what happens as far as the COVID-19 is concerned, and whether or not the cruise ships will have any impact on that. So for those of you who are celebrating a birthday today, we want to wish you a happy birthday, or if you celebrated one over the past few days, a belated happy birthday to you. Those of you who have lost loved ones, again, we want to extend our sincere condolences to you. We hope and we trust that your faith will help to carry you through these extremely challenging times, and that the memories of your loved ones will be a blessing to you as well. Those of you who are ill and are either at home or at a medical facility, we wish you a speedy recovery. So, folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension, For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles, as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. As you know, For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I'm your host, Ort Connor, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 10 a.m. During that period, our phone lines are open. You can call us on our toll-free number provided courtesy of Flow. That toll-free number, 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and 949-6990. Email us at fortherecord, one word, fortherecord at candw.ky. WhatsApp us, 925-3261. And, of course, you can follow us on YouTube simply by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream. This morning, it is my pleasure to have in the studio with me guests who will be talking about the Deputy Governor's 5K walk run that is going to take place. That conversation is going to take place. We have the Chief Officer in the Ministry of Sustainability and Climate Resilience, Ms. Jennifer Ahern. We also have representatives from two of the beneficiary charters that will benefit from the proceeds of the Deputy Governor's 5K as well. So I'm going to pass the mic over to Ms. Ahern, and have her of course, she needs no introduction to Radio Cayman. And for the record, we have another guest here who's making it quite a habit now of being in the studio, and we certainly enjoy having him as well. But I'll let Ms. Jennifer introduce both of them to us. Ms. Jen, good morning. Welcome back to For the Record.
Good morning, O.C. Thank you so much for having us on today, and good morning to everybody listening. First of all, I do want to bring apologies on behalf of the Deputy Governor.
Sure.
He had planned to be with us this morning for this morning's show, but he is in Little Cayman on official business, so he won't be able to join us this morning, but he did want to extend his thanks to you and the team at Radio Cayman for hosting us, and just to encourage everybody listening to make sure that they mark their calendars and come out and participate with us.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, we are joined here this morning by a couple of the representatives from the beneficiaries of this year's event. I have Ms. Dorothy Davis, who is from the Alzheimer and Dementia Association of Cayman Islands, and she's going to be able to share with us some information about what they're going to use the funds for from the DG 5K. And we also have Dr. Dialwis, who's here from the Cayman Islands Cancer Society, and he's going to be giving us a little bit of information regarding what they're proposing to use the funds for as well. The other beneficiary of this year's event is the MS Foundation, so we're hoping that Miss Alyssa is going to be able to join us soon to talk a bit about what they're going to do. So we have three awesome charities again this year. The Deputy Governor, every time he chooses the charities, he always does a fantastic job at doing it, and
Yes.
always chooses ones that really are making an impact in the community. And I think that's one of the things that he really looks for, is how the charities are using the funds and how we'll be able to see the impact that we're making from the contributions that people are making by participating or sponsoring. So very excited. It's this is the 2020 edition that we're finally getting on the road. The DG and I were talking last week and saying that we were actually scheduled to come on For the Record to kick off the big push for the 2020 event the day that we had the first COVID case. Yes. And we canceled our appearance and said, well, maybe we'll do it, push it a couple weeks. Here we are 2 years later. Yeah. Anyway, but thank you again for having us, and good morning to everyone.
Yeah. And speaking of the beneficiaries, there no doubt the continued success of the event has probably allowed you as well to expand the number of beneficiaries that you're able to accommodate as well, I would imagine.
Yeah, so the first year that we did it, we had Derek Haynes was running to raise funds for then Cayman Hospice, now Jasmine, for their new facility. And we thought, it'd be great if we raised $5,000 with a 5K to support them. And I think we ended up raising $16,500. And so then the following year we thought, okay, we're going to aim bigger. We got really organized with sponsorship and everything else. And then I think it was $50,000. And then it kept growing. And we got to the point where the DG was like, I think we're making enough that we could share it now. And so we split it. And we've had 3 charities, I think, for the last 3 or 4 times that we've run the event. So it's just fantastic because it really, and we usually have it around a theme. And so this year's theme is helping, I've just lost it. Helping today, saving tomorrow. I'll find it. Oh my goodness, I can't believe I've just butchered that. But it's always great to have the charities sort of around a particular theme, and sort of tie the threads together between the work that they're doing in the community and sort of rallying people around that. So it's just an incredible thing to see everyone come together and to support the charities. And having 3 charities means that we can just spread the impact. And everyone can see how their $25 registration fee is going to make an impact in the community across these 3 charities.
Precisely. Okay, so let's hear from some of the beneficiaries, and we'll start with Ms. Davis.
Hi, good morning, everyone.
Welcome.
My name is Dorothy Davis, and I'm the founder and chairperson of the Alzheimer's and Dementia Association. Our association actually started as a support group back in 2010, and that was due to my mom's diagnosis of Alzheimer's. Back then, nobody spoke about Alzheimer's. We didn't know, it was one of those things growing up. And you might remember, some people went around Georgetown. We all thought they were crazy. And that's what the children said. We were afraid of them. Little did we know that those individuals might have been suffering from Alzheimer's, but we didn't know. So I started to do my own research when my mom was diagnosed, and I was invited then by the Alzheimer's Disease International, which is the federation of associations around the world, and they're in relationship with the World Health Organization. And I was invited to what they call Alzheimer's University. They said, why don't you start a support group with the support of one of our Caribbean associations. Mm-hmm. So we started a support group, and then we went on then to seek how we would go about starting an NPO. But I had to go, before you can even start an association under the careful eyes, watchful eyes, and being assessed by the Alzheimer's Disease International, you have to go to what they call an Alzheimer's Association. So I went to 2 weeks in the UK to attend that. Mm-hmm. Very, very, that was like a stressed moment because I didn't know anything about Alzheimer's, and there you sitting with these neurosurgeons and people from all walks of life, and here I am, little Caymanian, a little person, no medical background or anything, but it's not about, the thing I found out, talking about Alzheimer's is not about the medical. You leave that to the medical professionals, mm-hmm. but you have a place for whether volunteer or not. It's the care that you get or you're given mm-hmm. for if you have Alzheimer's, the care you get, and if you're given, if you're a caregiver. And many of us may become caregivers one day. So we saw the need in Cayman, and therefore that was the birth of the Alzheimer's Association from then. And we have been, thankful to all the wonderful things like the DJ, walk, run, and all those things, and the kind sponsors and individuals. We have done very well. Since then, the people speak about Alzheimer's now. If you hear, my mom has dementia or my mom has Alzheimer's, and people are starting to learn the difference mm-hmm. between dementia and Alzheimer's. And that is one of the wonderful things about our community. People have banded together and tried. But we want to spread the awareness more. We want everybody, from the little one to the older person, to know this is Alzheimer's, and these are things you can do to help a person with Alzheimer's live well in our community. Okay. And tell us a little bit more about your organization in terms of contact details. I know we'll come to that later. Oh, okay. We have an office in Zephyr House on 2nd floor, Suite H. And our office right now, because of the COVID situation, it's opened. We're there like probably 2-3 times a week, but then whenever a person needs us to be there, we're there on by appointment. And we can be reached at 924-4170 or 936-1655, and our email address is info@adacayman.com.
Okay. We're going to take a commercial break now. When we return, we will hear from another beneficiary of the Deputy Governor's 5K. So, folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects. The Cayman Islands, He hath founded it upon the seas.
On January the 18th, 1962, the Assembly of the Cayman Islands voted unanimously to continue their present association with Her Majesty's government in the United Kingdom. Leading the change for remaining a British Crown colony was Dr. Roy McTaggart, the 9th national hero of the Cayman Islands. Opposed to aligning with Jamaica, Dr. Roy canvassed the Cayman Islands and received more than 3,000 signatures in support of remaining with Britain. MLAs from the sister islands were equally vocal in their support of being tied to Britain in the strongest possible terms, with a signed petition of 79% of the registered voters stating if Grand Cayman chose to remain with an independent Jamaica, the sister islands would seek separate crown colony status under Britain.
Radio Cayman's Historical Vignettes was brought to you by Rotary Central. For more than 110 years, Rotary members have used their passion, energy, and intelligence to take action on sustainable projects.
Hello, boys and girls. I'm Zara. If you are students in Cayman between 3 and 16 years old and love reading books like I do, welcome to the first Rotary Central Video Book Reports competition. Record your short video, no more than 90 seconds, on why you love your favorite book, what made you excited, or what made you laugh. There are lots of fabulous prizes. Too many to talk about now. For further information and sign up, go to Rotary Central Cayman Islands Facebook page or email david.rotarycentral@gmail.com. Record your book report video and send it by March 31st. So easy, so fun. The Rotary Central Cayman Islands Video Book Reports Competition. Rotary serves to change lives.
Thinking of getting a hybrid but don't know much about them? Vamp Motors has 3 great reasons why you should own the Toyota CHR. Hybrid save fuel, run cleaner, reduce CO2 emissions, and even recharge their batteries while being driven. So there's no need to plug in a hybrid, making it both economical and fun to drive. And you don't have to replace your battery every 2 years. The CHR Hybrid is reliable, providing up to 1 million kilometers on the same battery and engine. Oh, and now you can save $2,000 off the Toyota CHR, starting at only $33,500.
That's way more than 3 reasons.
True, but the best one is that it's on sale now. Test drive the Toyota CHR today at Vamp Motors, Walkers Road, while stocks last.
Are you feeling sick, but don't feel ill enough to go to the doctor? Ask your pharmacist for advice. Here at West Bay Pharmacy, our pharmacists have been trained to offer helpful, easy-to-understand advice on the treatment of everyday minor ailments for yourself and all the family. Anything from headaches, cough and sore throat, to cold sores, our pharmacists will know when medical help is needed and will not hesitate to refer you to your doctor if your symptoms demand it. Like doctors, our pharmacists have a professional code, which means all personal information you give them will be treated in the strictest confidence. Visit us today at West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
Make your house into a home. Welcome to Brand Source Home Gallery, your source for premium products and a premium experience. We'll design and install your dream kitchen with crafted cabinets, complemented with elegant appliances. We'll fill it with quality houseware and cookware. Custom-designed closet and storage solutions organize and beautify any area. And with the finest bedding, you'll get a perfect night's sleep knowing Brand Source Home Gallery has everything you need to make your house a home.
JN Money, money touchdown. Send the money now, reach wow. You say you need some money, JN Money, I can send it in a hurry. Get through quick when you come collect your cash or use your money card and swipe it in a flash. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah. Send and receive funds at any JN Money location. It's fast, affordable, and convenient. Money touchdown with JN Money. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah.
Call 345-945-2014 for details. Available at JN Money locations across the Cayman Islands.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. It is my pleasure to have in the studio with me this morning Miss Jennifer Ahern, who is the Chief Officer in the Ministry of Sustainability and Climate Resilience, representing the Alzheimer and Dementia Association of the Cayman Islands, the founder, Ms. Dorothy Davis, also with us from the Multiple Sclerosis Foundation, Miss Alyssa Christian, and also with us, Dr. D'Alvis, who is with the Cancer Society as well. So we're going to move the mic over to, I'm going to say no stranger, because 2 times this month, Dr. D'Alvis has been in the studio with me. Sir, welcome back, and tell us about the work of your charity.
Thank you very much, Mr. Connor, and the fellow speakers and all listeners. It's a great honor for me to be amongst you today once again in a country where the standard of nutrition, standard of hygiene is exceptionally good, and therefore the ability to prevent disease and protection of the future, as you said, should be something that's quite easy, let's hope. Now, in the Cancer Prevention Society, they got many objectives, but for this month, the primary objective has been cervical cancer. Cervical cancer, sad to say, it is a sexually transmitted disease. What we can do is we can have what's called primary prevention and secondary prevention. In the primary prevention, we should give everybody possible the vaccine from about the age of 10 to about even 12 if we can. Some countries started at 9, but I think for us 10 is good enough. Then in the secondary prevention, where we have screening and examining patients in the clinic and doing pap smears and so on, we could start even at the age of 21, provided they are not sexually active before that. But if they are sexually active before that, then it's good to do the first pap smear after 1 year of sexual activity. The problem is that a lot of people don't like to use the external protection, which is commonly called the condom. But sad to say that even the condom does not prevent HPV or HIV being dispersed 100%. But it's better than nothing. I think the boys in this country are quite very intelligent, so are the girls, and they should take upon themselves to use the condom whenever possible. The bottom line is that the sexually transmitted disease has a cure, and the cure is perfect continence before marriage and strict fidelity thereafter. But it's easier said than done. Nuns don't get cervical carcinoma, nor do virgins. So all of us can't be virgins and nuns. But at least we must try to protect the community. If you expose one person to HPV, and if you extrapolate it to a community, if that person has several partners, you can infect almost 40,000 people, because one gives the other gives the other 3 more, other 3 gives another 10 more, and it goes on and on. So it's important that we take responsibility, and for this we have to have a collective approach, and it's great that you have a collective approach. The teachers play one of the most important roles in a community. Now, the teachers must be given the chance to counsel the children at an early age, because they are learning biology, and at that time that's one of the best times to tell them, go and get the vaccine, protect yourself, because once you get invasive cervical cancer, so 5-year survival is 7%. Whereas if you catch it very early, the 5-year survival is almost 100%. So if you screen, if you have an abnormal pap smear, treat it quickly, survival is 100%. There are failures in the pap smear. Tell me when to stop when you're busy.
Got about another minute. Half minute.
It's important to get the pap smears done by professionals. In England, we have a thing called accreditation, and once you're accredited, you're a specialist in pap smears. Because I had a patient who had a pap smear which was reported as normal. 2 weeks later, she had grade 3 invasive cancer because the pap smear was done from the wrong place. So you have to get proper screening. And there are 5 instances in which the pap smear can be abnormal. One is at the moment of taking it. Second is if the pap smear is done on the lateral fornix of the cervix of the vagina and not in the cervix. Third is if it is not fixed properly. Fourth is if it is not transported properly. And the fifth is if the person reading it is not specialized.
Okay, thank you very much for that background information, Dr. DeAlvis. And now we're going to hear from Ms. Alyssa Christian, who is the founder of the Multiple Sclerosis Foundation.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Welcome back.
Like everybody else, I'm very excited and very honored that the Multiple Sclerosis Foundation is part of the DG5K recipients this year. So I founded the MS Foundation after I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. And just realizing how many people in Cayman had MS and there was no support. And my diagnosis from my first noticeable symptom, now I realize I had it probably a lot longer, but my first noticeable symptom to diagnosis was 3 years. I saw over 13 different doctors. At that time, we didn't have a neurologist on island, so we were all traveling. And it was frustrating, and it was very difficult. So I decided, there's nothing I can do about having MS. It's not curable. It's not, it's here forever. And I knew my way forward as far as treatment and medication, but I wanted to help other people because I didn't want anybody to feel alone or scared, because it can be, a very scary diagnosis. But it's not a life sentence. And so that's how we started. And our mission is to provide financial and emotional care to not only MS patients, but their families, because we know this is not something that any one patient does by themselves. You have to have a huge support system. And then the second piece to that is providing awareness to the community. So MS is quite new for Cayman, I think. A lot of people have heard it. They don't quite know what it is. And so, and breaking that stigma, because there's still a lot of people who have MS that don't want people to know about it because of fear of judgment or prejudice or, being held back at work or professionally. So, it's we're still the new kids on the block, but I think every year we're getting a little bit farther and a little bit farther. And, with every person that we talk to and every new patient, somebody else says, oh, yes, I know somebody. Oh, yes, I know somebody. And we've come a long way. We've got, great neurologists at Health City that are here that we can finally work with. Treatments are now available in Cayman, so people don't have to travel as much. We've got great MRIs and great support from other physicians outside of the neurological world, which is amazing. So yeah, we just want to keep bringing awareness and support for all our patients. And, COVID's been difficult for everyone, but, we've been a little bit quiet just because of, the economical situation that everybody's facing. So we're excited to gear up again. March is MS Awareness Month, so it's perfect timing for us.
Okay, folks, so we've reached the top of the hour for 8 o'clock news. When we return, the conversation will continue about the Deputy Governor's 5K. We will be talking, of course, with the Chief Officer in the Ministry of Sustainability and Climate Resilience, Ms. Jennifer Ahern. Also with us, we have the founder of the Multiple Sclerosis Foundation, whose voice you just heard, Ms. Alyssa Christian. Also with us, the founder of the Alzheimer and Dementia Association of the Cayman Islands, Ms. Dorothy Davis, and of course also with us, Dr. DeAlvis. So folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back immediately after the 8 o'clock news.
Radio Cayman time check is now 8 a.m. This time check is brought to you by our friends at Foster's.
Looking for better prices?
You'll always find them at Foster's.
Just like Charmin Ultra Soft Bathroom Tissue. 6-pack only $4.19, save $2.80.
Or find better value on bubbly sparkling water. 12-ounce just $2.79, save $2.70. And Forager organic dairy-free cashew milk yogurts, 2 for $4.
You'll find even more great specials across the island at all Foster's locations and online at fosters.ky. Foster's. Better prices because we care.
Price is good until 23rd March 2022.
The voice of the Cayman Islands.
89.9 FM in Grand Cayman and 93.9 FM in Cayman Brac and Little Cayman.
Silver wings shining in the sunlight.
Radio Cayman.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com.
For today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller. A big day for tourism. Radio Cayman's April Cummings has more from Central Georgetown.
A not-so-quiet hum of activity at the port this morning as Cayman prepares to greet its first cruise passengers in 2 years. Tourism and port officials putting on quite the celebration this morning to welcome arrivals with dignitaries, food, drink, balloons, and, of course, some music. The phased approach to the return of cruise tourism means fewer passengers. So this morning, for example, while we don't have confirmed numbers as yet, it sounds more like 1,000 to 2,000 arrivals as opposed to the tens of thousands of arrivals. What this does, though, is provide an opportunity for Cayman to assess things, to work through the experience in the COVID era of thousands of people arriving to downtown Georgetown, to check to see how the port processes and procedures are working, and make sure that things are as safe as they can be under the circumstances. April Cummings, Radio Cayman News from the Port Authority in Georgetown.
Tourism Minister the Honorable Kenneth Bryan is on hand this morning, greeting passengers himself.
So funny how you don't recognize the value of something till it's gone. And I think that a lot of Caymanians are happy today for the new way forward.
Mr. Bryan tells Radio Cayman government recognizes that there are challenges when it comes to welcoming back cruise ships, but his administration will be, quote, mindful of that going forward.
But the positives of a cruise industry to the Cayman Islands is unquestionable.
Mr. Bryan says welcoming back cruise tourism will help rebuild the country's crippled industry due to COVID-19. And the Ministry of Education announces the start of its second phase of the Public Schools Meals Program today. Students enrolled in public high schools, including the Cayman Islands Further Education Center, will now be provided with breakfast, lunch, and snacks daily. Education Minister the Honorable Juliana O'Connor-Connolly.
The meals provided must be wholesome, nutritious, and delivered on time. Accordingly, a team from the Ministry of Education will work closely with other government agencies to oversee meal provision and ensure that meals comply with the Cayman Islands Public Schools standards for food.
School officials say the program will be administered through an interactive meal management system that will allow parents to view menus, order meals, and view their child's meal consumption patterns. Parents and guardians were invited to sign up for the meal management system, which was piloted in 3 primary schools in January and February. The public school meals program was introduced in primary schools and at Lighthouse School in August. For more information, you can email schoolmeals@gov.ky. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, which will take us out of the newscast. I'm Carsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
BBC News with Jerry Smith. The suffering of residents in the besieged city of Mariupol looks set to continue after the latest attempts to agree a humanitarian corridor appear to have failed. A list of such corridors that the Ukrainian authorities say has been agreed with Russian forces does not include Mariupol itself. Kiev had earlier rejected a Russian offer to guarantee safe passage out of the city in return for its surrender. A woman in Mariupol has posted an account of conditions there on social media. Going into her street during breaks between bombings, Nadezhda Sukorokova says her building is the only one which has not suffered a direct hit. She says buildings burn and corpses lie uncollected near wrecked houses. The head of Foreign Affairs in the EU, Josep Borrell, says Russia has committed a major war crime by attacking Mariupol. He said shelling and missile attacks by the Russian army were indiscriminately killing people and destroying the city. Russian warships have bombarded Ukraine's biggest port, Odessa, hitting some residential buildings on the city's outskirts. A Ukrainian military spokesman said there were no casualties. The spokesman for President Putin, Dmitry Peskov, has said there haven't been any breakthroughs with Ukraine over the continuing conflict. Mr. Peskov said significant progress was needed before Mr. Putin and President Zelensky could hold direct talks. Briefly, in other news, an airliner carrying 132 people has crashed in southern China. It's feared there are no survivors. The plane came down in forested hills in Guangxi province and caught fire. BBC News.
The 8 a.m. news is brought to you by ValueMed Pharmacy. Save time and order your prescription refills online at value-medpharmacy.com. VALU-medpharmacy.com. Did you know that ValueMed Pharmacy has a free online prescription service? Managing your health and medical requirements has never been easier with ValueMed. Simply visit value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com and click the Refill Prescriptions tab on our website. Fill in the information for new prescriptions or refills and choose your preferred pickup location. ValueMed on Walkers Road or Town. Then bring in your original prescription from your doctor when picking up. There's no need to stand in line and wait for your prescription. Save time and pick up prescriptions at your convenience by visiting value-medpharmacy.com. That's VALU-medpharmacy.com.
Stay in touch with Radio Cayman for the latest in news and information.
Follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Radio Cayman, your voice, your choice, your radio.
With Logic, you get more things you do want, like faster fiber internet, more TV, entertainment, and better customer service. And you get less of the things you don't want, like waiting, boredom, and disappointment. More of the good, less of the bad. It just makes sense. Or should I say, it's logical. See what I did there? Call us or go to logic.ky to find out how you could be getting way more of what's good.
Calling all amateur bakers in the Cayman Islands. Celebrate the Queen's Platinum Jubilee, taking part in the Cayman Islands Platinum Cake Competition. His Excellency the Governor Martin Roper invites you to submit your homemade dessert recipe to the Governor's office by April 3rd. Win a chance to have your dessert recreated for the Queen's birthday party in June. Do you have what it bakes? Well, submit today at gov.ky/Jubilee.
The 8:12 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Britcay, where people come first.
Good morning, everyone. Hello? Hello? Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Okay, I see we have just about everyone, and of course Tom drops off, as per usual. Let's just wait a minute here. He always comes right back, and we're almost ready, and... oh, whoever's dog that is, please go on mute. Why won't it let me share my screen? Okay, looks like we're ready to start.
We're like a video conference with no technical issues. CG Britcay. Good like that.
All right, good morning, my friends. 8 minutes, so make it 9 minutes after 8 o'clock. Let's take a look at your latest weather. Compliments of our friends at CG Britcay. Present temperature like 85. Winds are out of the east-southeast, 8 miles per hour. Relative humidity 83%. Last night's dew point was at 73. Barometric pressure still at 29.97 inches and falling. Isolated showers along with moderate to fresh northeasterly winds and seas are expected over the Cayman area for the next 24 hours as a ridge of high pressure builds over the northwest Caribbean. Some forecast for today calls for some cloudy conditions with a 40% chance of showers. Temperatures will rise to the mid-80s. Winds will be eastern northeast at 15 to 20 knots. Seas will be moderate with wave heights of 3 to 5 feet.
Then later tonight, partly cloudy skies, 30% chances of showers. Temperatures will fall to the mid-70s. Winds will be east at 10 to 15 knots with higher gusts. Seas will be moderate with wave heights of 3 to 5 feet. We're in a low tide. High tide will be at 11:03 this morning, then low at 5:34 this afternoon. Then it's going to be high at 12:19 a.m. tomorrow, low at 6:23 a.m., high at 11:51 a.m., and low at 6:30 p.m. Sunset this evening is at 6:35. Sunrise for Tuesday morning at 6:28. And the outlook is for similar weather through Wednesday evening. That's your latest weather, my friends, right here on Radio Cayman.
The 8:12 a.m. weather report brought to you by CG Britcay, where people come first.
Good morning, everyone. Hello? Hello? Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Okay, I see we have just about everyone, and of course, Tom drops off, as per usual. Let's just wait a minute here. He always comes right back, and we're almost ready, and... oh, whoever's dog that is, please go on mute. Why won't it let me share my screen? Okay, looks like we're ready to start.
We're like a video conference with no technical issues. CG Britcay. Good like that.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
All right, once again, good morning, my friends. Let's take a look at your traffic situation coming out of the eastern districts. Not too bad this morning. Traffic seems to be moving, looking down at the east-west arterial, but it's a bit slow. And of course, getting to the Red Bay roundabout, meet some traffic there as well. There's traffic coming out the Prospect area. Looking now from King Sports Center, I could see a line of traffic, slow-paced moving along the Linford Pearson, similar along Crew Road. Going through South Sound, you'll meet some traffic there as well. And going through South Church Street, feeding into Seafarers Way. Today is going to be different in the Georgetown area as we welcome tourists off the Disney cruise ships. So look out for more pedestrian movements in the Georgetown area. Looking at the SLE Tibbetts Highway, a bit of traffic backed up in the southbound lane, trying to make your way to Georgetown. As you go around the Butterfield roundabout, either heading westward towards Godfrey Nixon Way or heading east along North Road. Expect some traffic in that area. Looking down at Crew Road, traffic coming into the Georgetown area, moving slow as well, stop and go in some instances. Similar on Huldah Avenue. Expect traffic in the usual areas this morning as you make your commute in. Heading towards the airport to catch your flight, very little traffic along that way. Cayman Brack and Little Cayman. Light traffic this morning time. Your traffic report, of course, brought to you by our good friends at Subway.
Subway makes it easy for you to stay on top of your health and wellness goals with our Fresh Fit menu options. Choose from 5 Fresh Fit Subway sandwiches with only 450 calories or less per 6-inch sub. Turkey breast, veggie, oven roasted chicken, black forest ham, sweet onion chicken teriyaki, or make your 6-inch Fresh Fit sub into a salad or wrap prepared with fresh vegetables. For a full menu and nutritional information, visit subway.ky. Subway. Eat fresh.
The traffic report is brought to you by Subway. Planning a meeting, event, or office celebration? Visit subway.ky to place your catering order today.
You can now book and pay online for your certified lateral flow test at www.hsa.ky/appointment. It's fast, easy, and convenient. Certified LFTs are $25 per test per person. HSA's testing center is located at 131 Center, McClendon Drive, behind Foster's Airport. Walk-ins for certified LFTs are also available. Need a PCR test for travel? These are now only $75. Visit hsa.ky/appointment for more information.
The Tuesday and Thursday edition of The Business Buzz is brought to you by Cayman Medical Supplies, providing quality pharmaceuticals, medical supplies, and consumer products to healthcare providers, retailers, and ultimately the patients at a reasonable rate in a friendly, caring, and timely manner. Cayman Medical Supplies is located at number 93 Smith Road, Windward Center. Telephone 949-6211.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me this morning, Ms. Jennifer Ahern, who's the Chief Officer in the Ministry of Sustainability and Climate Resilience. We're here talking about the Deputy Governor's 5K walk run that will take place, and we will be giving you the dates as well. But meanwhile, we are having a conversation with some of the beneficiaries or representatives of the beneficiaries of the Deputy Governor's, the proceeds from the Deputy Governor's 5K. In the studio with us, we have Miss Alyssa Christian, who is the founder of the Multiple Sclerosis Foundation. Also with us, the founder of the Alzheimer and Dementia Association of the Cayman Islands, Miss Dorothy Davis, and representing the Cancer Society, Dr. DeAlvis, as well. So some of the things that we are going to be talking about with the representatives of the charities are some of their project initiatives, which each of the charities will be putting directing the funds from the Deputy Governor's efforts to as well. We want to know also how else can the public support each of your charities, and any upcoming events that your particular or your respective charities may be promoting as well. So I'm going to throw the mic over to Ms. Jennifer, and she will then pass it around the table.
Right. Well, thank you again, RC. Yeah, so we're really excited to be partnering with these three beneficiaries this year. Well, originally in 2020, and we've carried it forward to 2022 because they're all going to be using the funds to make some really impactful things happen in our community. We heard a bit before the break about some of the work that they've been doing and some of the concerns that they're trying to address. And what we're really hoping is that the community will join us for the DG 5K, have a lot of fun, get a little bit of exercise, see some friends and family maybe that you haven't seen in a while since we've all been sheltering in place, it feels like, for a very long time. It's time to come out and hit the road together and really, pool the power of the collective. So my $25, if I just gave it individually, might not be as impactful. Well, definitely wouldn't be as impactful as being able to give tens of thousands of dollars when we join together through the DG 5K to support these charities. So the theme is helping today, protecting tomorrow. And that's the theme that we felt really tied these three charities together and the work that they do, and in particular some of the work they're going to do with the funds. So I think I'll just turn it over to Ms. Dorothy to talk a bit about what Adaci is going to be doing.
Sure. Okay, thank you. Well, we hope to roll out our Dementia Friends program. We obtained that license from the UK, Alzheimer's Society in the UK in 2019, and we did a little soft launch, but based on funds, we couldn't do it because it's a program that involves going into businesses and doing a presentation, and then you have to follow up with training and so forth, and you can do it from a 5-year-old to be sensitized to a person, this person has dementia. And all the program is you learn about the disease, but then you also promise to take an action. Mm-hmm. So the action could be, if I saw, like for a child, if I saw a senior or whatever and they look lost, I will ask them, do you need help to get home, or where is your family member? Anyway, that could be one of the actions. So we plan to roll out that program between now and, let's say, fall of next year, because it's going to take a lot of time. The other one that is very, very much needed that we struggle with also is our Respite care program. That is needed for the caregiver and for the person with dementia. And we don't have, here in Ireland, we don't have like a day care or something you can take people to. Just say a family member need a 30-minute break or an hour, a few hours to do something for themselves. There's no place. I mean, the Pines you could, but then the Pines locked down. So we want something that would be geared for, what do you say, specialized for a person with dementia. The caregiver can be there, but you can be in the next section, be watching TV or whatever, but it gives them a break away from home and give both individuals respite. So those are the things that we hope to use the funds for, and I'm looking forward to lots of people going out so lots of funds can be raised because it's needed. And I mean, there's 3 wonderful charities that the funds will be dispersed to, and we're just so grateful and honored to be, even if it took 3 years, 4 years or whatever, we are very grateful and deeply honored to have been chosen as one of the charities.
Okay. Now, someone has shared a little secret with me that you're no stranger to Radio Cayman as well.
No,
that you were here as a librarian at Radio Cayman.
Yes, I was. This was my first job, was at Radio Cayman. As I say, I worked with Roy Dunlop and the Banks and them. I was here with the Rex Rankins and Paulette and, oh my gosh, Selma Eden and all those great days. Wanda Tatum. Yeah.
Great. Okay, over to Ms. Christian, Ms. Jennifer.
Yes. So, if MS is not the most expensive, it's probably one of the top most expensive diseases because there is no cure, right? So not only are we looking at treatment, but we're looking at yearly or more frequently MRIs, doctor care, et cetera, et cetera. So our funds are going to patient care. And all our funds stay here for patients in Cayman. That's very important to us. And, as great as insurance is, it doesn't cover everything. And so there's still quite a lot out of pocket. And then also, looking at alternate wellness initiatives that help, either slow down the progression or complement the medical treatment that patients are on, just for a better quality of life. So that's what our funds are for, because it's not going to go anywhere for our patients. Unfortunately, we hope for a cure one day. That'll be the best news. But for now, that's what our mission is. And as far as the public, just one, educating yourself on what MS is. And 2, if you know somebody, and encourage them to reach out, encourage them to talk about it, and either to us or, you be their support system or a therapist or whatever. And don't be afraid to be diagnosed if that is what is happening to you. It's not a life sentence, and definitely come out on April 24th. And if you know somebody with MS who wants to do it but is unable, walk or run for them, or bring them in a wheelchair, right? Like there's no stopping the support that can be given.
Okay. I've participated in several charity events, more in cycling than anything else. And in South Carolina, there was one for cancer survivors. And there was a huge blanket that was erected, and you were allowed to write the name of the person that you were either riding for or someone that you wanted to remember. And I was wondering whether or not any thought was given to something like that to allow people to to write on that and save it as well. Now, Dr. DeAlvis, I know you're more on the practitioner side of things, and we will have someone from the Cancer Society with us later on at 8:30 as well. But I shared with you earlier an article from the Trade Winds newspaper in 1966, where it appears as if the first uterine cancer survey was conducted in the Cayman Islands at that point in time. So it shows that way back then there was some awareness of some of the issues as far as uterine cancer is concerned.
Yes, actually that's a great exercise, because in 1966 they have investigated the incidence of endometrial cancer, that's uterine cancer. Uterine cancer is not infectious.
Okay.
Whereas cervical cancer is a sexually transmitted disease. And sad to say, we got one of the highest incidences of cervical cancer in the world. Abnormalities, cervical abnormalities in the world. And that's partly because we've got a cosmopolitan society. People stay a few years and go away. A new group comes back and they bring a new strain, and it keeps going. And we haven't had enough of the vaccinations given so far. Now, the Cancer Society actually is a divine organization, because it not only prevents, it diagnoses and helps in the treatment of. There's no other organization in the world that does that. If you look at the prevention side, they're actively involved in cervical smears, the education system, counseling. So they in fact pay for the pap smears, and we all do pap smears free of charge for people who don't have funds and people who are sent to us by the Cancer Society as an annual exercise. Then in the diagnosis, once the pap smears are obtained by reasonably qualified people, the Cancer Society pays for that as well to be processed. And once it is processed, if it is abnormal, the Cancer Society will take some responsibility even to pay the people who do not have money for that process. And not only for cervical cancer, but they also do it for breast cancer, bowel cancer, and so on. And I think in that sense, they are one of the most elite, most divine organizations in the world, because 1 in 6 people in some studies die of cancer, of some form of cancer. If you look at the incidence in the States, about 5,000 people die a year, a preventable disease. For no reason they die. And about 14 to 15,000 are detected every year. So that's a lot of sexually transmitted disease going away. And we have to educate the society that the second highest cancer in the world for girls is after breast, cervix. A curable cancer, come on. We can cure it. It's simple. And when you have a small island, curing it is simple. Activate the processes, get everybody involved, educate them, make them aware of the problem. And once they're aware, they're extremely intelligent enough to take steps to amend the problem.
Okay. We have about 3 minutes left, and I want to, on this segment, I should say, and I want to give, again, the charities an opportunity to say to the public how they can be reached. If they have any questions, any concerns, if they want to join your organization, how they go about doing that as well. We'll start with you, Ms. Christian, and then over to you, Ms. Davis.
Sure. So we're actually having extreme difficulties technically with our email right now. So you can reach out through Facebook. So facebook.com/MSFKman. That's the best way. Or 323-0656. And yeah, if you want to get involved, volunteer, we speak to patients not only who are diagnosed, but who think they may be diagnosed, and to help them through that process. And even if it turns out that it's not MS, we're still here to, provide the support and the resources to help you get to wherever you need to be.
Excellent. Ms. Davis.
Okay, hi. Please go. One of the first things I want to say is please go out and register for the DJ 5K, whether Little Cayman, Cayman Brac, or on Grand Cayman. That's one way of supporting 3 wonderful charities. To join, if you'd like to volunteer with ADACI, which is we say Adaci or the Alzheimer's Association, please do call us at 924-4170 or 936-1655. We have a lot of programs that we are looking for volunteers or members to assist with. And we're located in Zephyr House on the 2nd floor, Suite H.
Okay. I want to thank you all very much for being here. I want to wish you all the success, and I know that the proceeds from the DJ's 5K will be certainly put to good use by both of your, all 3 of your organizations as well. Folks, we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, the conversation will continue about the DG's 5K run and walk in the Cayman Islands. We will be hearing from the platinum sponsor, Miss Jennifer, as well as more from the Cancer Society as well. So, folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back immediately after this short commercial break.
Thinking of getting a hybrid but don't know much about them? Vamp Motors has 3 great reasons why you should own the Toyota CHR. Hybrids save fuel, run cleaner, reduce CO2 emissions, and even recharge their batteries while being driven. So there's no need to plug in your hybrid, making it both economical and fun to drive. And you don't have to replace your battery every 2 years. The CHR Hybrid is reliable, providing up to 1 million kilometers on the same battery and engine. Oh, and now you can save $2,000 off the Toyota CHR, starting at only $33,500.
That's way more than 3 reasons.
True, but the best one is that it's on sale now. Test drive the Toyota CHR today at Vant Motors, Walkers Road, while stocks last.
JN Money, money touchdown. Send the money now. Reach wow. You say you need some money. JN Money, I can send it in a hurry. Get through quick when you come collect your cash, or use your money card and swipe it in a flash. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah. Send and receive funds at any JN Money location. It's fast, affordable, and convenient. Money touchdown with JN Money. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah.
Call 345-945-2014 for details. Available at JN Money locations across the Cayman Islands.
Water Authority Cayman wishes to advise its valued customers that its offices will close early on Friday the 4th of December for a staff function. The Authority's Grand Cayman office will close at 11 o'clock a.m. and the Cayman Brac office will close at 12 o'clock p.m. There will be no trucked water deliveries in Cayman Brac on Friday afternoon, the 4th of December, after the office closure. Any trucked water orders received before the office closure that are not delivered on Friday will be carried over to Saturday the 5th of December or Monday the 7th of December. Customers in Cayman Brac are encouraged to plan ahead. The Water Authority appreciates the patience and understanding of its customers and the public and apologizes for any inconvenience this may cause.
Let me tell you something. I've been fishing our island since I was a boy, and it's getting harder and harder to get a good catch. Maybe it's because there are so many more people in Cayman than ever before. Maybe it's because of how the climate is changing. I don't know about that, but I do know that I want to be able to keep fishing and teach my children to fish one day as well. So it makes sense to me that we have certain areas and certain times of the year to fish for certain things. This year, a new rule was placed on fishing for grouper that says no one can fish for nass or grouper anywhere in Cayman from December 1st to April 30th while they're spawning. There is also no fishing allowed at all for any kinds of fish in the spawning zones, and no scuba diving there either. It feels unfair not to be allowed to fish where my dad taught me to fish, but I know that being patient now means we can keep fishing for many more generations. We're all in this together, right?
For more info, download the Cayman DOE app or visit doe.ky.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the record.
This is For the Record with Ort Connor.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. For those of you just joining us, we're talking about the Deputy Governor, the Honorable Franz Manderson's 5K walk run event taking place. We have been talking with the representatives of the entities that will be benefiting from the proceeds of the event. They are the Multiple Sclerosis Foundation. We heard from Miss Alyssa Christian. We also heard from Miss Dorothy Davis, who is the founder of the Alzheimer and Dementia Association of the Cayman Islands. We heard from Dr. DeAlvis about the Cancer Society. Of course, he's a practitioner there, and we're going to hear more about the Cancer Society as well. So I'm going to throw the mic back over to Miss Jennifer, and maybe at this point in time we can also talk about the event itself, the dates that they will take place, and the locations as well. Huh?
Yeah, well, thank you, OC, and we're so excited that we're actually getting on the road with the 2020 edition of the DG5K.
Literally getting on the road, right?
As we mentioned earlier on the show, or I mentioned earlier on the show, we were all set to sort of kick off the promotion into high gear in 2020 when COVID arrived. And at the time, the deputy governor, I thought, we'll delay it for a few weeks and see how this shakes out. So we then talked about moving it to November 2020. Of course, that didn't happen. And then we thought, okay, let's do April. Let's do April 2021 because we knew the election was scheduled for May 2021. And the week that we had the press release ready to go to announce the dates in April 2021, they announced that the election was going to be in April 2021. So we didn't send that press release out. And so then we delayed it. We thought, we'll try November 2021. See if we can get it done then. And then, of course, we had the community outbreak of COVID. So here we are. This is, officially attempt number 2 or 3, but probably actually 4 or 5.
I forgot all those versions and all those dates.
Yeah. And it was like, and even when we set the dates for this April, we thought, is this really going to actually happen? And I'm feeling extremely optimistic that we're actually on our way. So the dates that we've set, we're going to be in Cayman Brac on April 3rd, which is coming up very quickly. The following weekend, Sunday, April 10th, we're going to be in Little Cayman. And then the grand finale is April 24th here in Grand Cayman. So we're really excited about getting everything back on. We're going to be on all 3 islands again, which is very exciting for us as well. I've been assured by the team in Little Cayman that we have a 5K and not a 5-mile course this year, and that we will also have chocolate croissants at the halfway mark in Little Cayman. Wow. If anybody was on the fence as to whether they were going to go to Little Cayman for the 5K on the 10th of April, that might be something to keep in mind.
Come for the charity, stay for the croissants.
Exactly. How about that? So, so those are the dates. So the 3rd of April in the Brac, the 10th in Little Cayman, and the 24th here in Grand Cayman. And registration is open, and it's on Race Caribbean this year. So it's racecaribbean.net, N-E-T. And for civil servants, we have the ability to pay via salary deduction.
Okay.
So if you're in the core civil service, that's an option. You will need your employee number to use the salary deduction, but otherwise you can pay online. And we want everybody to register in advance because there will not be registration on the day of the event here in Grand Cayman. And so we've got some, as always, the teams, we've got a fantastic shirt for everybody. It's made from recycled water bottles, plastic water bottles. Again, we want to encourage people to bring their own water bottles to the events because we're trying to cut down on our footprint in terms of our waste and our plastic use. So we want everyone to bring your own water bottle so you can start training with your water bottle in hand just to get used to it. But just to really encourage everyone to come out, as we've been talking about this morning, we've got 3 fantastic charities that we're trying to raise funds for. The DG has set us a fundraising target of $70,000.
Which you're likely to exceed.
Well, I hope. I'm really hopeful. I'm optimistic. We're with the restrictions that we've had over the past few years and everybody just starting to come back out from some of the COVID restrictions. We're really hoping that people will come out and support us. In the past, we've had over 2,000 registrants across the 3 events, and we want to try and hit those kind of numbers again. And it's just, I think it's a fantastic, if you've never done the DG 5K, just to let you know that it's just a fantastic event. In the morning, it's a great opportunity to see people that you probably haven't seen for a while. You can walk, you can run, you can jog, you can do whatever you need to do to get around the course. And you'll probably find that you'll see people and you'll start chatting, and before you know it, you'll be done.
Yep.
So just to really encourage everyone, get registered at racecaribbean.net and come on out and join us for some fun and to raise some funds for some great charities.
Okay, now before we hear from your platinum sponsor, we I want to hear a little bit more from the Cancer Society.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you so much for having me. This is Jennifer Weber, the other Jennifer in the room. There's a lot of us running around. But we want to say thank you so much to government for selecting us as one of the benefiting charities. It's great to be in the good company of the MS Foundation and the Alzheimer's and Dementia Association, because these are groups that literally came to us a long time ago when they were forming, and they were like, okay, you're the Cancer Society, how do we do this? And so it's so nice to be able to work together with other organizations and to find this support. As charities, we're all looking for funds to do the good things for the community that we do. So to have government support us like this makes all the difference. So we're grateful for that. But the Cancer Society is super excited about this. I had forgotten how many iterations there had been of the dates and the changes and all that stuff. But it has been a long time coming. I think it was like 3 or 3.5 years ago that we met with Franz Manderson and Jennifer, and we talked about this program that we have to help eradicate some cancers in the Cayman Islands in the future. So what the Cancer Society is going to be doing with these funds is the Cancer Society is going to be using the funds that we get from the DG5K to purchase vaccines called HPV vaccines, and we're going to provide those free for boys in public schools. Now, the Cancer Society has been doing this program and providing the vaccines free for girls since 2012. And when I say girls, we mean girls in year 7, 11, turning 12, to get what's called the HPV vaccine. And we've always wanted to be able to do it for boys, but we never had the funding. So now, thanks to this initiative, we are going to have the funding to do girls and boys. And because it's been a number of years since this all started in 2009, was when government approved that both girls and boys should have this vaccine, many advances have been made in the vaccine. And so now it covers more strains of HPV, not only for girls to eradicate cervical cancer and other gynecological cancers, but for boys as well. It covers things like, it's kind of early to talk about penile warts, but it prevents those things. And it also prevents head, neck, and throat cancers, which are for girls and boys, and other things in the future. So we are one of 4 countries in the world that provides the HPV vaccine as a free public health program. And within a couple of generations, we will also be one of the only countries in the world, or one of 4 countries in the world, who can say, oh, cervical cancer, my grandma used to talk about that. We don't have that here anymore.
Okay, great. So, Ms. Jen, I'm going to have you introduce your platinum sponsor, representative of your platinum sponsor to the show.
Thank you very much, O.C. So we're joined by Norman Klein, who is the managing partner at Appleby. We're extremely excited to have Appleby on again as our platinum sponsor this year. They have been supporters of the DG5K for as long as I can remember, pretty much, and always a really great partner for us. And maybe this year, Norm, you guys will beat Maples for that corporate cut and get more people on the road than they do. But we're really, really grateful for all the support Appleby has given us over the years, and really happy that Norm's able to take some time out of his very busy schedule to spend with us this morning. Thank you, Norm.
Well, thank you for the introduction, Jennifer, and good to see you again. It's been a while.
Yeah.
And we're very pleased and happy to, as Jennifer said, the other Jennifer said, to be back with the DG5K. It's been way too long, 2 years, and this is a very important event for us. It's our we consider it our premier local charitable cause. It aligns so well with what we do in the office with our staff. Well-being is a very important thing to us. I think it's important to everyone personally, but as an employer, we think it's very important. Physical well-being, mental well-being. I think this checks both those boxes. And I think we have been involved since day one or year one in the DG5K. And in the last few iterations, we've been the platinum sponsor. Hope to continue that as long as the DG will have us. We are doing our best to beat Maples in terms of numbers to turn out. We don't have as many numbers, but we're encouraging staff. We're paying for all staff and family of staff registrations, and we'll do our best to have as many numbers as we can possibly get out there on the road. We're just so pleased that we're finally back.
Yeah, no, it's great, and I have to say that Appleby have just been such a willing partner for us. And I know that when we reached out to them initially to say, well, they actually, I think, reached out to us and said, we've been a gold sponsor. Can we do a little bit more? What else can we do? And so we were very, very thrilled when they agreed to be our first and only platinum sponsor. I think in 2019 they did an additional sponsorship. We had some baseball caps that we had done that Appleby sponsored as well. So I just do want to really, really thank Norm and the team at Appleby for being such fantastic and very willing partners for us. It's been a great partnership.
Okay, we're going to take a commercial break. Folks, when we return, the conversation about the Deputy Governor's 5K walk and run taking place with Chief Officer Ms. Jennifer Ahern, from the Cancer Society, Ms. Jennifer Weber, and Managing Partner of Applebee's, Mr. Norm Klein. So please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, K-Man.
Make your house into a home. Welcome to Brand Source Home Gallery, your source for premium products and a premium experience. We'll design and install your dream kitchen with crafted cabinets, complemented with elegant appliances. We'll fill it with quality houseware and cookware. Custom-designed closet and storage solutions organize and beautify any area. And with the finest bedding, you'll get a perfect night's sleep knowing Brand Source Home Gallery has everything you need to make your house a home.
Raising children is costly. That is why each year the Ministry of Education provides, through its Early Childhood Assistance Program, funding to assist Kimanian children to attend an early childhood center. For early childhood funding assistance, call the Early Childhood Care and Education Unit at 244-3155 or 936-0267, or download an application form from the Ministry's website at www.gov.ky/education and email the completed form to ecap@gov.ky.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Orit Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In the studio with me, Chief Officer Ms. Jennifer Ahern, representative from the Cancer Society, Ms. Jennifer Weber, and the managing partner of Applebee's, who are the platinum sponsors for the Deputy Governor's 5K, displaying tremendous amount of corporate citizenship and responsibility in the Cayman Islands as well, and we want to commend them certainly, for that. And they have been sponsors since day one, or since the first event as well. And again, thank you and congratulations for that as well. We want to hear a little bit more from the Cancer Society before we go back to our platinum sponsor and to also Ms. Jennifer Ahern. Ms. Weber.
Thank you. I want to underscore how grateful we are to Appleby. I appreciated hearing Norm say that they like to fund things that are about well-being and wellness, both physical and mental, because that means a lot to us too. We are a charity that we don't receive any funds from government. We are an independent charity. We stand on our own 2 feet because, fortunately, we've been around for a long time. The Cancer Society has been around for 27 years now. COVID impacted our 25th anniversary celebrations. We had lots of plans and lots of fundraising we had expected to do, but we weren't able to do any of it. But our first 25 years at the Cancer Society were all about awareness and early detection. And the next 25 years, we want to be all about prevention. And so that's why this vaccine fits in so perfectly with everything that we want to do for not only now, but for the future and getting rid of some of these cancers. You know, we're just as tired as everybody else of hearing about cancer all the time. You know, I can't go to the grocery store. I can't go on the pool deck. I can't go anywhere without hearing people saying, Miss Jen, why we got so much cancer? And, you know, oh, my friend has cancer. My friend died of cancer. All I ever hear is everybody talking about cancer, and I wish it wasn't so. But until that day, the Cancer Society is going to be there to help people. And one of the things we want to do is try to get rid of cancer. So this HPV vaccine that we're going to be using the DG funds, the DG5K funds from, we're going to be purchasing this vaccine, and it's really important for the community. I want people to understand what it is. So HPV is a virus, like any other virus, like the flu, like COVID. And it's something that spreads, and there are strains of HPV, which stands for human papilloma virus, that if they stay in a human system for too long, they can lead to different kinds of cancer in women and in men that can impact your life in the future. And so about 80% of people get HPV in their lifetime. You get it from close contact. There are lots of ways that you can get it. But about 80% of people get it from close contact, and most of us don't even know when we've had it. We get it just like a flu or a cold, you know, we get that bug, we don't feel so well, whatever, and it goes away. But in some instances, when the immune system can't clear that virus, it can settle, and when it settles in your body, it turns into different kinds of cancer. So with this vaccine, which is a series, it's not just one shot, it's not one and done, it's a series. You have to have 2 or sometimes 3 of these shots in order to be fully protected. But if you get it while you're young, 11 turning 12, or in year 7, your immune system is very robust at that time, and it can, if you only need to have 2 injections. So that's the time to get it, when the immune system is sort of rebooting itself, and you won't have to get a booster in the future. So you get these 2 vaccines 4 months apart. Girls in public school can get it free through the Cancer Society, thanks to all the sponsors and the support that we're getting, and then they can go on with their life. And so hopefully in the future, we will have people saying, oh, cervical cancer, I don't know why we don't have that here. And that's one cancer that we won't be talking about anymore. And it is the #1 cancer killer of women in the Caribbean. So we are not talking about something that's easy to get rid of. We're talking about something that is so pervasive in our region that it's killing a lot of women. 25 years ago, we started doing PAP vouchers to detect it early. Now we're going to be doing these vaccines to stop it from existing in the first place.
Excellent, excellent. So, Ms. Jen, we know COVID is still around.
Mm-hmm.
So for the benefit of those persons who will be participating, can we talk a little bit about some of the measures that are being taken to ensure that everyone remains safe?
Yeah, so we are going to have to limit our numbers here in Grand Cayman to comply with the restrictions. So if you are thinking you'd like to come and join us, I encourage you to register early so that you don't miss that opportunity. One thing that we will not be doing this year that we usually do after the event is have everyone hang around and have a raffle and have some fruit and coffee and all of that kind of stuff. We're going to encourage people to finish the race and then go home. We will still have some raffle prizes, but we'll be drawing them afterwards, and we'll be reaching out to people on that rather than having everybody congregate at the end of the race. We are encouraging people to bring their own water bottles, not just because of the wanting to reduce waste and minimize plastic, but also because that way, if you come with your water bottles, it's better to keep it to yourself, so to speak. And we will be making sure that we're taking steps with the distribution of water for people through the race and so on, that we're minimizing some of the contact and so on. But, just to encourage people to be smart and to be careful, as people, I think, have learned to be with living with COVID. But the main restriction, I think, is going to be the numbers here in Grand Cayman. So just if you are one of our people that come out every year, make sure you register now so that you don't get to the website and discover that we've cut it off at the limit. So.
Can we talk a little bit more about? We've spoken about the 3 charities that have been chosen this year. So if there's a charity out there who would want to be a beneficiary, how do they go about doing that? How is the process in terms of selecting the beneficiaries? How does that work?
So the best thing to do is to send an email to Mr. Manderson or a letter with your pitch suggesting why you think you would like to be chosen. He has identified the charities for next year's event already. So we would be looking at the event for 2024 now. But the thing that he's looking for with the charities is something that's going to make an impact, something that the community will be able to see very clearly how they've contributed to it. So some of the examples from past years, there was the very first year that we raised funds to support Derek Haynes in his running 6 marathons, I think it was, which is crazy. I think, to raise $1 million for hospice. So anybody who participated in that very first DG 5K can look at that beautiful Jasmine hospice care villa and know that we helped make that happen. That's your contribution at work there. Another example was when we supported the Special Olympics athletes who were going to the World Games in Los Angeles and who came back with an incredible number of personal bests and just outstanding performances. And I remember the DG talking about how watching them walk in at the opening ceremony. He was like, we made that happen. We got those kids there. We got those athletes on the world stage. We have the Cayman Heart Fund was raising funds for an ambulance for the Health Services Authority. I still see it on the road with the Cayman Heart Fund logo on it. We made the community came together through the DG 5K and made that happen. So those are the kinds of things that the DG is looking for when he's selecting the charity, things that will be able to see the funds in action, see the impact that's happening and how we're benefiting the community.
Okay, we want to hear some more from your platinum sponsor as well. Mr. Klein, over to you, sir.
Well, like I said earlier, Applebee's happy to sponsor this. I often wonder, is it a case of Applebee choosing active events to sponsor and getting the staff involved, or is it the staff coming to us and saying we want to do this? Because I think it's the latter.
Okay.
And it's developed many times over the years. We've got runners and paddleboarders and soccer players and softball players and even have a couple hockey players. So that sort of drives the firm's direction in terms of what we sponsor locally. So this was a natural for us. Like I said, we've got a number of runners and those who don't run walk or they roll or that they do whatever, but they participate. So we're very happy to do it. It aligns with our internal wellness program that goes beyond sports. And we're just happy to do it, and I think it's something that the staff genuinely want to see continue and happen.
Okay, now from a general standpoint, how important it is for a corporate Cayman to be involved in the community?
Well, of course. I mean, I think Cayman in particular is unique. I've lived in a couple of countries, and I think Cayman leads the way in terms of private sector getting involved in social causes, charities, and driving them and delivering answers to needs in the communities, filling in holes that wouldn't get filled otherwise. And I think that Cayman can be very proud of it. I think we hold our own with any of the larger first world international countries. And we end up delivering those needs.
Okay, Ms. Jen, let you have the last word.
Okay, well, I do, just sort of picking up from that, I do want to take this opportunity to thank all of our sponsors. We have, for our gold sponsors, we have DART, Butterfields, the Cayman Islands Civil Service Association Credit Union, Cooperative Credit Union, Davenport Development, and EY. They're all on board as our gold sponsors. We have Cineco, who are sponsoring the halfway mark. So if you've done the Grand Cayman event in the past, the team from Cineco is usually there with crazy sunglasses sunglasses and wigs, and they're cheering you on at the halfway mark. So we're very excited to have them back again this year. PwC and Maples are both sponsoring water stops this year as well. And then we have our silver sponsors. We have Walkers, Stepping Stones, Denton's, Chris Johnson Associates, Affinity Recruitment, Genesis, CNB, KPMG, Circumference, London and Amsterdam, and Health City. And then we have our kilometer marker sponsors of Foster's, Bedell Christian, and Rich and Connolly. And we have a couple, I think we actually have a sponsorship opportunity still available for a kilometer marker. If anybody out there is interested, they can reach out. But yeah, we couldn't do it without the support of our sponsors. So we're massively grateful for all of them who have come back on board after the hiatus. We've reached out and they've been like, oh, yes, absolutely, let's do this. So, and just a reminder to everybody, we're in Cayman Brac on April 3rd. Little Cayman on April 10th, and here in Grand Cayman on April 24th. Start time is 6:30 a.m., so nice, bright and early. You'll get through in time to go home, have a quick shower, and get to church.
And that's for all three locations?
And that's for all three of the events, yeah. And registration's open at racecaribbean.net. You can pay online. Civil servants can use the salary deduction as long as you know your employee number, which is on your ID card, so nice and easy to find. And we just want to encourage everybody to come out and help us raise some funds for the Cancer Society, the MS Foundation, and the Alzheimer's and Dementia Association of the Cayman Islands.
Okay, we wish you all the best and all the success in the world as well. Folks, top of the hour. Headline news at 9 o'clock. When we return, we will have other guests in the studio, so please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back shortly.
From district to district, moving through the waters to Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Your station, your voice. All things Cayman. One radio, many people. This is home.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Today's biggest news.
Radio Cayman. Your voice, your choice. Local, regional, international. This is Headlines from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
Today's biggest news.
In headlines.
So what's it like for you today, Mr. Bryan? As we're seeing the cruise ship arrive for the first time in 2 years, what's it like?
Kind of surreal, actually.
Minister for Tourism, the Honorable Kenneth Bryan, speaking there with Radio Cayman's April Cummings in central Georgetown this morning as the country welcomed its first cruise ship since the start of the pandemic in March 2020. Some 1,500 passengers are on board today's Disney Magic.
So the first tender, if you will, has arrived. This one, of course, is with members of the crew. They arrived en masse, bringing out things like sanitizer and materials in order to help transition passengers from the tender, of course, here to the port. They were greeted by the minister responsible for tourism, the Honorable Kenneth Bryan. They're now actually boarding the tender ship and greeting the crew that's on board there as well. There are also officials here from the port, Director of Tourism Head Mrs. Rosa Harris, and of course Chief Officer Mr. Strandbaden. The media is here as well, along with a variety of individuals who work at the port, taking photographs as well and preparing for their first visit of a cruise ship in 2 years. Reporting from the Port Authority for the Cayman Islands, I'm April Cummings for Radio Cayman News.
Those are your headlines. I'm Carsley Fuller.
For the latest in news and information,
follow Radio Cayman on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Download the Radio Cayman app or log on to our website, radiocayman.gov.ky.
Hey, it's Tasha from Brock. Remind you to tune in to Youth Flex on Wednesdays from 4 to 5.
Coming up on The Flex, hear how our overseas recipients have made their mark in Cayman.
You can also join us on YouTube Live for Youth Flex, the program for all people by young people. Youth Flex, more than talk.
Shout out to all my Brockers.
You know what I love to do with my family? Go fishing. I can put the bait on and cast and reel the line all by myself. My mommy and daddy say when they were little, there were plenty more fish to catch, but now there are lots more people fishing, so it's harder to find them. That's why we have marine parks now. They set some areas aside so the fish there can have babies and grow bigger. Then they swim out to other areas where I can catch them. Having the marine parks means there will still be fish there when I'm grown up and fishing with a family of my own.
For more info, download the Cayman DOE app or visit doe.ky.
Now you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere.
Everywhere.
Can you hear me now? Everywhere. Everywhere.
Yes, right from your Android or iPhone. Download the Radio Cayman app now on your Android or iOS phone.
The Radio Cayman app
is where you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere you go.
Everywhere we go, we go. Everywhere we go, we go.
Find it in the Google Store, the Apple Store, or use the link at www.radiocayman.gov.ky.
Yes, now you can listen to Radio Cayman everywhere.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matter. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. Before I introduce my guests, we normally have the birthday minute early in the morning, but someone did send a message to me asking me to extend birthday greetings to Miss Sheila Watler, who's celebrating a birthday today, and much love and blessings coming from her parents, Pam and Ladner Watler, and brother Joseph Watler as well. So, Miss Sheila Watler, happy birthday to you today. It is my pleasure now to have in the studio with me, no stranger to Radio Cayman, Miss Charmaine Miller. Good morning. Welcome to For the Record, and I'm going to have you introduce your guests and tell us what we'll be talking about. Of course, this month is
Honoring Women Month.
Honoring Women's Month as well.
Thank you
lots
for
of
having
things
me,
going
OC.
on. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, absolutely. Glad to be here. I am Charmaine, and I'm representing the Department of Counseling Services Family Resource Center. With me, I have our guest, my new friend, and well, she's now a civil servant again, right? Miss Trina Savage, and I'll let Trina introduce herself.
Thank you, Charmaine. Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for having me. So yes, I'm working with the Portfolio of Civil Service, and I was blessed with the opportunity to assist with some of the Honoring Women's Month events, which I do have a background in event management and very passionate about empowering women. Mm-hmm. So it was definitely, although it's not my primary role with POCS, I'm doing other projects with the Portfolio of Civil Service, but I am enjoying the opportunity to assist and work closely with the Family Resource Center and counseling services to host some events that highlight not only the opportunities for younger women to be empowered, and we've, through the mentoring program, for example, that we launched, but also to honor those from our past and those who've made a big difference in breaking the bias from our history in Cayman. So I'll be sharing some of the details of our upcoming Seafarers Tea Party, as well as our Honoring Women's Parliamentary Luncheon.
Yeah,
Okay.
Very excited. Yeah, we're definitely very excited to ensure. Generally our Honoring Women Month campaign is mostly community-based, but this time around, we definitely have received the endorsement by our Honorable Deputy Governor, Franz Manderson, and the Portfolio of Civil Service. And so we've managed to create and host some events that I definitely think are going to bring, full circle the overall theme of this campaign, which is #BreakTheBias. And for those that aren't familiar, we've been doing Honoring Women Month for the past 23 years locally here in Cayman. So that's quite, we've got a lot of years under our belts. And so every year, though, it's definitely been extremely rewarding to see how, as a community, we're increasing our level of awareness and we're celebrating women's achievements while at the same time recognizing those gender-specific issues affecting them.
Now, we know that, COVID over the past 2 years have sort of changed the way we celebrated things in the Cayman Islands. How different will it be this year now that we're seeing COVID's
ease off the restrictions of those. Yes. Well, good question. And even though for the past 2 years, nothing really changed when it came to our celebrations. We did still host our major fundraisers, our luncheon, brunch, and whatnot. This time around, I just feel like the celebrations is greater, certainly. As a community, especially the private sector, they've really done a really good job at, partnering with us and ensuring that they are bringing the theme into their workspaces and recognizing women that are trailblazers, women that are breaking biases within their workplaces, and also encouraging a lot of opportunities for growth amongst women. So our events have not changed at all, really and truly. What we have done this year, though, is in addition to our key events, we have several virtual sessions happening. So this week we've got about 3 or 4, I believe. Starting today, we've partnered with Gender Equality Cayman, and we're going to be doing a session at 6 o'clock that's called the Unconscious Bias Training, and it focuses a lot of unconscious biases that we have as human beings, and it's completely natural, but also recognizing how that manifests itself in a workplace and what could be done about it, right? So that's happening today on Monday. Tomorrow, well, I believe on Wednesday, tomorrow actually, we're back here again. We've partnered, again, going back to the private sector, CUC, Water Authority, and our own Department of Environment will be here talking about women in STEM. And so I'm really excited. We have a first female engineer at CUC, Namitha Abraham, who will be joining us. And I think after that, she also has another interview here too at 2 o'clock. So it's been really good. I'm not too sure who's going to be representing the Department of Environment. And we have somebody from Water Authority, Ms. China, who's going to be joining us. So it's really about talking about, always never losing focus of what the theme is, right? Breaking biases and recognizing how collectively we do have a responsibility, right? And so a lot of the times, a lot of that responsibility is placed on politicians, on senior leaders and whatnot to fast track that agenda so that eventually we can get to a place where we're providing equal opportunities or equal playing field for our women and girls, but also recognizing that we as individuals have our own responsibility, right? And what can we do within our little groups of influence to ensure that we're breaking biases about gender stereotypes or how women should be, all the shoulds that, society tells us that we should be adhering to. What are we doing to challenge those belief systems and actions?
Now, some people may ask, how did we arrive at gender biases in the Cayman Islands when there was a point in time when women were the dominant gender in Cayman, simply because of circumstances where the men went off to sea or they went off to assist to fight in the wars. How did we end up now to where we are, that we have to focus and we have to sort of like right the ship again?
I mean, I think that's a really good point that you brought up, because we are different than a lot of other countries and communities, and that the women have played a really strong role for so long. And in assisting in organizing the Honoring Women's Parliamentary Luncheon, so that's actually happening this Thursday. Okay. We're hosting the DG, or rather the Speaker of the House and the Deputy Speaker are hosting past and present women in Parliament. And when I was doing the site visit, I've been on the tour long time ago. My son was little, but of course I've taken it with a new perspective. And it's hard to believe that we've come so far, and yet, we still have a long way to go with our biases. But those women who were left behind were running the show. And that was a trigger for them to say, hey, we're already here doing this. This is time for us to join government. This is when we should be at the table helping to make decisions. So those women, they were naturally in that leadership role, but it did take, a few of those women, to the pioneers in the early days, to say, okay, now it's time for us to have a vote and have a say. And thankfully, the leadership is starting to change. There is more balance because, having male perspective and female perspective is a part of life, right? In everything, it's a balance. So it is wonderful to see this time that we do have, we are seeing more women run for election and get voted in, and I believe it is creating balance, and it's about, changing that language that really is globally influenced. You know, it's the media, it's the stories that we've been told about what women should do, as Charmaine said, all the shoulds, and even people today, you know, like it's not that long ago that we saw storybooks where, you know, the girls were nurses and teachers and the boys were carpenters and police officers. So we've been fed a lot of information from, you know, all over the world when we receive all that from media and from the books we were read, and so I think I always find it really impressive how we were really breaking the bias before other countries, but it's up to us to you know, stay strong and know that we can still be leaders in that way, and it's exciting to see that we're on that track.
Okay, we're going to take a commercial break. When we return, the conversation will continue, so please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Since March 2004, West Bay Pharmacy has kept their doors open to the local communities, even before, during, and after Hurricane Ivan. At West Bay Pharmacy, our staff provides so much more than pharmaceutical excellence. From the moment you walk through our doors to completing your cash out, our staff will have put your healthcare concerns at ease. We would like to take this moment to thank our loyal friends and customers. To us at West Bay Pharmacy, our patients are our primary concern. We provide thorough background checks and precise calculations to ensure your medical safety. Thank you for being a part of our family and for choosing West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
Thinking of getting a hybrid but don't know much about them? Vant Motors has 3 great reasons why you should own the Toyota CHR. Hybrids save fuel, run cleaner, reduce CO2 emissions, and even recharge their batteries while being driven. So there's no need to plug in a hybrid, making it both economical and fun to drive. And you don't have to replace your battery every 2 years. The CHR Hybrid is reliable, providing up to 1 million kilometers on the same battery and engine. Oh, and now you can save $2,000 off the Toyota CHR, starting at only $33,500.
That's way more than 3 reasons.
True, but the best one is that it's on sale now. Test drive the Toyota CHR today at Vant Motors, Walkers Road, while stocks last.
Tune in every Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. for Radio Cayman's Midday Newscast. Radio Cayman, the People's Station, your trusted official source for the latest news. The 12 p.m. news is proudly brought to you by Health City Cayman Islands. World-class healthcare within your reach.
The Ministry of Education invites all eligible Caymanians to apply for an Education Council Local Scholarship for the 2022-2023 academic year. To apply for a local scholarship or learn more about the various scholarship offerings, please visit the Scholarship Secretariat Unit's website at www.moescholarships.gov.ky. Applications close on Saturday, April 30th, 2022.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Orit Connor, continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're talking about Honoring Women Month in the Cayman Islands. That's the month of March. That conversation is taking place with Ms. Charmaine Miller from the Family Resource Center and from the portfolio of the Civil Service, right?
Yes,
Trina Savage as well. We do have a caller. Let's grab the caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, good morning.
My name is Cresswell Power.
Yes, sir.
You were talking a while ago about women. We have more women now in politics than we had in the past. And, you know, that is, having more women in politics has been a real concern of mine for many years. I've been pushing, you know, in the campaigns. But what I really don't understand why we don't have more women in politics or being elected, because I know about 2 elections ago we had quite a number of women ran in politics and or ran in an election, and there's only 1 or 2 that got elected. I think we have quite a number on the voters registration. We have quite a lot more female voters than we have male voters. And I can't understand why more women doesn't support the female candidate. I mean, it would be a good way of getting more women to represent us.
Yeah.
Than we, you know, if the women would vote for their own sex.
Now, do you think it may be historical? On Friday on this show, we shared some information that we received from Celebrate Cayman, Mr. Alfonso Wright, and in the election of 1950 for the members, justices, and vestry of the Cayman Islands, justice of the peace and vestries of the Cayman Islands, we had all of the candidates, of course, were male candidates at that point in time. So do you think that where we are now as far as female politicians, while, you know, we have sort of cracked the wall, we haven't really broken through it yet because of our historical situation?
I don't really know. I can't, you know, put my finger on any reason, but I know women will do a fantastic job.
Oh yes, we know that.
Well, that's empowering.
Thank you, Mr. Cresswell.
And I don't see why when they go to the polls, why the women don't rally behind their female candidate.
Yes.
It's
It's a good
point, and it's not just here in Cayman. It's actually women from generations and generations have been taught and programmed that men do, you know, that men know better, that men are the ones that lead, and that you turn to them. And so a lot of it's the, you know, what they've been taught and what they've been raised to believe. And thankfully the younger generation, it's almost non-existent. If you talk to someone in their 20s right now, some of these biases that we still carry, you know, us that are, you know, women in their, you know, 30s, 40s, 50s may have, that girls in their 20s, women in their 20s, they really are thinking that they don't even fathom the idea of how that could be considered. But when you're taught growing up that men do this and that men know and men are the ones lead, a lot of women not only don't have the confidence themselves, but they also have been taught and feel that, oh, actually, isn't that, you know, shouldn't we leave that to the men to take care of? So it, you know, it's thankfully we did have, you know, some of those women who went to, you know, Miss Sybil McLaughlin, Honorable Sybil McLaughlin is a great example. You know, there were women that didn't believe it and didn't, you know, that just pushed through those boundaries. But it's true that it is a common sentiment and statistic in corporate environments as well, that a lot of women have experienced more mentoring from men versus their own peers as women, that there's been this unfortunate, you know, kind of lack of support, which I do feel is changing, but, you know, it takes time. So I think as more younger, you know, I always encourage young people to vote for many reasons, but I think the more young people that are voting, we're going to see a lot. We're going to see that sway the other way.
Yeah, well, we'll have another shot at it, God willing, in 3 years. So I hope that more women will register to become candidates, and those women who are voters will go out there and cast their ballot in favor of women. Because I think if you had a 50-50, even a 50-50 in the House, you'll see a lot of difference. Especially, you know, Cayman has a lot of domestic issues, and I think women can handle those domestic issues a lot better than men.
Yes, and you have men making decisions and crafting legislation on women's issues that they know very little about.
Very little about.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you know, I would encourage women to, you know, get themselves prepared for the next election, and you know, throw your hat in the ring.
Okay. Absolutely. Thank you very much for that, caller.
Right.
great point.
Okay.
Thank you.
Back over to you, ladies.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's interesting when you talk about breaking biases. I have quarterly, we facilitate a training for frontline professionals. It's called Domestic Violence Intervention Training Program. And so we try to make sure that we are targeting professionals both in the public and private sector, and that there's equal representation in terms of gender, right? Recently, well, I think over the past few years, I've noticed a shift. As part of our training, we do gender sensitization too, right? And we do several exercises where, you know, we'll do a gender role box exercise that speaks to, you know, what does society tell us about what women should be? What does society tell us about what men should be? And when you act outside of this box, what does that, you know, what does that feel like? What does that sound like, right? In an equal way, we also have a different exercise where we get toys, right? And some of them are very, you know, we'll say that's definitely a girl toy, that's definitely a boy toy, whatever the case may be. We'll put those all at the center of a table, and participants are just encouraged to just pick whatever toy they want, right? What we've noticed recently is the younger generation, back to what Trina is saying, their idea of this gender box and, you know, what the selection of certain items versus the other is they are completely oblivious to that. It's kind of like, it's totally non-existent. They are in dismay when they hear, especially because we're talking about a group of participants. Some of them are older, some of them are younger, right? Your millennial or even younger than that generation coming up and joining the workforce. And it becomes this debate. Throughout training about how gender influences, you know, stereotypes, and how gender influences the perpetuation of domestic violence and social issues in the country. So it's really fascinating and eye-opening to see how, while we do have a lot of the influences, you know, global influences, which we do bring on a lot here in our little island, how we're doing a really good job at challenging those influences and recognizing that, hey, that's not really our issue here, right? We're a little bit more advanced, believe it or not, right? And we're in a position where we can have more candidly, you know, we can challenge ourselves more so and create that expectation that just because this is an issue, you know, internationally somewhere else, it doesn't mean that it's an issue here, right? And we're making changes this year more than the last election. We have more female representatives in Parliament, right? We were blessed to have Miss Catherine Ebanks Wilkes join us for our mentorship program, the launch of our mentorship program, and she did a phenomenal job, and she talked so candidly about her own challenges, right, in joining politics, and how she's being backed, right, and supported not only by her females, you know, females in Parliament, but also her male counterparts, right, and how that's so important. So whenever we talk about Honoring Women Month, I think, you know, there's a lot of push for feminism, and that's wonderful and everything, but being a feminist doesn't mean that we are leaving our men behind and our men are not a part of this conversation.
Yes.
You know, in the same way that our caller said, we as women, we need to empower each other, right? We don't need to see each other as competition and lack that trust or believe that, you know, you're not as competent as your male counterpart, or I can't trust you in the same way that others have trusted, you know, our other males that have been in politics or whatnot. So it's really about making sure that we're inviting the conversation, we're talking about diversity, inclusion, and recognizing that if I have an opportunity and if this is something that I truly feel I'm competent to be a part of, then why not extend that to me, right? And that's what Women's Month is all about.
Okay. Now, one of our listeners picked up on the political point, and they write and say on today's show, who advocates for more men or more women in politics? The only thing that matters is what individual works for the constituency best and for the country best as well. I can't say that I agree wholeheartedly, you know, with that position, you know, at all. I really can't say that because, like we said before, you cannot take a male person and have them properly and what's the word I should use? Fully speak about women's issue because they don't experience it. You can't legislate for women if you don't know what women are experiencing. The same way that they would say, should a woman be legislating for a man and on men's issues? They may know something about it, but the importance of having women, and this goes to the main point, having women make decisions for themselves.
Be a part of that.
That's a great point. Yeah. And going back to creating that balance as well, I think one of the points that or it was a question that got asked at the mentoring breakfast where we had Honorable Catherine Ebanks Wilkes there as a panelist, and someone asked the question, how do you face being in a sort of man's environment, because it has been predominantly led by men, and still maintain your femininity? So I think, which is, she admitted it's a challenge and she's still finding her way. So I think back to the, why not elect women, or why aren't women being elected? And it's a lot to do with, the expectation that's been set and the tone. And like you said, men have, there's positive and negative to every human in every scenario, and men have there's male characteristics and female characteristics, and if an environment has been predominantly led in a men's way, then women are often going to approach things differently. They're going to come from a feminine approach. There's going to be meet in the middle, and we're going to create, hopefully the most symbiotic community possible. But the structure has been set up in a way for a very long time. So it's not something that happens overnight, that all of a sudden, the female is going to be completely accepted and heard. And it's not just in Cayman, but in, globally there's statistics that come out a lot during Women's Month, about breaking the glass ceiling, and the fact that women for many generations were not heard the same way. They didn't have a voice. Maybe they were interrupted more frequently, so not as, respected in their with their male counterparts. So I think, to Mr. Cresswell's point, he's very supportive and, of more women getting in government. And it really does take that all of us need to do our part. All of us need to remember, actually, just because a woman comes about it in a different way, it doesn't mean, that it's wrong. Her delivery may be different, but it's about, adapting and creating an environment that it is safe for different types of leaders, to create that diversity and inclusion. Like you said, that in order to represent everyone, it is important to have a group of leaders that can really fully understand and experience things for their constituents.
Okay, that's a good point for us to take a commercial break. Folks, when we return, the conversation with Miss Trina Savage and Miss Charmaine Miller will continue, so please stay tuned. The conversation about honoring Women's Month, the month of March in the Cayman Islands, will be back shortly.
What's that? No sugar, same amazing taste? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar is here to stay. Classic taste, pure satisfaction. Be sure to stop into any Tortuga location and get your own case of Coke Zero. Or grab an ice-cold one straight from the cooler. Brought to you by Tortuga Distributors Limited. Coca-Cola, taste the feeling, Cayman.
JN Money, money touchdown. Send the money now. Reach wow. You say you need some money. JN Money, I can send it in a hurry. Get through quick when you come collect your cash, or use your money card and swipe it in a flash. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah. Send and receive funds at any JN Money location. It's fast, affordable, and convenient. Money touchdown with JN Money. Send funds to any bank, yeah. Pay your bills quick, yeah. Low fees, you know what it, yeah. JN Money, we are pick, yeah.
Call 345-945-2014 for details. Available at JN Money locations across the Cayman Islands.
Tune in Monday through Friday at 7 a.m. and 10 p.m. for the Daily Sports Report, covering local, regional, and international sports. Proudly brought to you by Dr. Wayne Porter, offering a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. Call 946-9020 to book your appointment today.
For the Record with Ort Connor.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the Record with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're discussing honoring Women's Month in the Cayman Islands. That discussion is taking place with Ms. Charmaine Miller from the Family Resource Center, as well as Ms. Trina Savage, who is with the portfolio of the Civil Service.
Thank you for having us.
Okay, so ladies, I'm throwing the mic back over to you. It's Honoring Women's Month, so I'm going to do less talking and more listening.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, just speaking this morning about breaking the bias in our own community and how, going back to the fact that women were, unlike many communities around the world, the women of Cayman took on a strong leadership role when the men were at sea. And one of the new discoveries that I was blessed to have from exploring the idea of hosting this tea party. So the deputy governor was excited about honoring Women's Month, and last year we hosted a tea party for the civil servants. This year we said, how can we, look at honoring some of the women who were originally breaking the bias? So in reaching out to the Seafarers Association, we learned that there were a number of women that did play an active role in our seafaring heritage, and some of them actually did go to sea with their husbands. Yeah. So that was really impressive to know that existed. And to your point, how we were talking about, women have been running things in Cayman for a really long time, and that statistically, I think that's why when we talk about breaking the glass ceiling in corporate environments, and that's the real push right now. The civil servant, the government, Cayman Islands government is actually a testament to that, because there are a number of women in leadership roles already. Yes. For example, out of the 20 chief officers, 8 of those are held by females. And in all of the leadership roles within so there's 4,000. The last statistic for last year was 4,000, just under 4,500 civil servants. And of those, there are 160 females at a leadership level and 172 men at a leadership level. So that's a really incredible stat. Yes. We're already doing it, and I believe one of the reasons is that because women have been in leadership roles for so long, that's most likely why we see in our own government that women are promoted and they are receiving a more equal pay when you look at the payroll statistics as well.
And I believe that there are some countries where the statistics also indicate that there are more women who are college graduates and attending college than there are males as well.
Absolutely.
So that tells you something.
Absolutely. And it's grown so fast. In fact, there's a lot of countries that are trying to encourage more men to keep going in college. So one of the events that we're excited about is on March 31st for civil servants. It will be hosted at the Seafarers Hall, and we have the blessing to have some of the seafaring ladies in attendance. Now, we can't guarantee how many are going to be able to attend due to health reasons, but if you haven't seen the Seafarers Association calendar, there's a 2022 calendar that they're selling. It's only $10. If you want to support our seafaring heritage, I recommend getting it, because they've highlighted 12 of the women who did serve prominent roles within our seafaring heritage. And at the tea party, we are going to have some entertainment provided by organized by the Ministry of Culture, but we've also extended the invitation to our rising stars, which are the female Coast Guards. So we have we're honoring the past and inspiring the future. And I think it's just, it's a wonderful opportunity to start recognizing that, women always have played a strong role in our leadership, and they continue to. So just changing the language and accepting that, that we're at the table and we're here to create a balanced environment.
Charmaine, over to you.
No, yeah, absolutely. I think it's just so exciting and fitting, the initiative that POX is leading in terms of partnering with the Cayman Islands Seafarer Association. We have done, something similar on Saturday. We had an opportunity to run our first ever STEM Girls Camp. And that was fascinating. We were oversubscribed. We had to close registrations and we had 32 young girls between the ages of 8 and 13, and we partnered with 345 Robotics. STEM, the field of STEM is a field in which women are obviously, we're not represented on an equal platform as our male counterparts. And so to us, it was really important. Again, going back to the theme of hashtag breaking the bias is motivating young girls who have an interest in science, mathematics, engineering, and technology to attend this camp and understand how fun STEM can be and what you can do with it, right? And so we had speakers that had moments of inspiration throughout camp. And so we had a total of 4 speakers that came on board that pursued the field of STEM and talked about how they started off, as young girls between the ages of our campers, and motivated them to pursue something and make a career out of it, and recognizing that they too have a place, when it comes to pursuing STEM field, and the importance of women, involved in that, and recognizing how, the wonderful things that women who have pursued the field of STEM, what they've done just globally and their contribution. So that was really lovely to see. It was great to see how much fun these girls had, and recognizing, fostering that interest from very early, so that moving forward, they too can pursue something similar.
Yes. Okay. Back over to you, Ms. Savage.
Thank you. Well, as we mentioned about the Seafarers event on the 31st, we are, throughout the month, all these the different events are taking place, and one of the things is, as we mentioned, we've touched on, is the mentoring program. So working with the Family Resource Center, this month we did launch a mentoring program for women of the civil service, and with the intention to, at a later date, launch one for young men in the civil service as well. But speaking of the mentoring program, the idea is to pair young professionals with someone, who can share their wisdom. But on the benefit of those relationships, and I mention it because I think as a member of the community, we're all mentors every single day.
Yes.
But the beauty of mentoring is that not only are you teaching that younger and fostering that younger person's career and their confidence, you are also receiving a lot of lessons. So as people who were raised with a lot of biases, I encourage everyone, whether it's at work or in the grocery store or wherever you can, engage with someone who's younger, because we have a lot to learn from them as well. We talk about these biases. We're actually responsible for the biases. The younger generation is really just following our lead, and they don't have it. It's really not in existence. It's been programmed, and it's our language. It's our beliefs that we don't even mean to have. I catch myself all the time saying things that I'm like, oh, that's a phrase that isn't relevant anymore. So I think on the note of mentoring, we're really excited to be rolling this out, because we do want to foster that sense of empowerment for our young civil servants, so that they can be the change makers. At the same time, if you have the opportunity to engage with a younger person and be a mentor, you will benefit so much as well. We do have a lot that we need to change, and that we can start catching ourselves, because every day that we speak in conversation, every day that our thoughts go a certain way, we don't realize it, but we are exuding a lot of biases. So I encourage people, spend time with someone who's a teenager in their 20s, and they will teach you. They will help you as well as just as much as you're helping them.
Certainly. We do have a caller. Let's grab the caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Good morning.
And to your panel there. At my age, you don't remember names so well.
Oh, we have Miss Savage and Miss Miller.
Miss Savage and Miss Miller. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Good morning.
This is Dennis Pontippis, the president of the Seafarers. As a matter of fact, I'm right here now, and I'm happy to support your effort.
Thank you.
People might say that I'm kind of biased because I'm the father of daughters. I have no sons, but
we need some of that. It's okay.
Well, I tell you what, I've got in trouble on 2 or 3 occasions, I see my friends beat up on their girlfriends or their wives, and I step in. But I was privileged to grow up with my parents. My father was a sea captain, and when he came home, my mother just left the reins to him. But I've never seen either of them. I don't say they didn't quarrel, but I've never seen my father put his hand on my mother. And my children have never seen me put my hand on their mother. God rest her soul, she died 3 years ago. But it doesn't say, how can a man understand? And I've met women who expect that. I mean, they think it's part of life, and, it's not. But I do support your efforts on the 31st when you have your shebang here. I promise I'll be in attendance. And right now, the office manager, who's a lady, she's not feeling well, so she went to the hospital, so I'm filling in for her. Not as good as she would do it, but I'm still filling in. But it's so nice to hear the accolades that people have placed on women. This month is Women's Month, and I like the thing, like the song goes, woman are gonna rule this country in the 21st century. And I'm all for that, believe you me. When I ran for election some years ago, I wasn't successful, but I ran with 3 different women. They weren't successful either, but it didn't change anything that our thoughts of the future or how they operated with me or how I operated with them. So men especially have to understand that women are also part of our world, and right now we have a membership exceeding 1,000, but we have more widows than we have widowers. I'm a widower, but it's more widows than they are widowers. So it only goes to show you that supposedly women live longer than men, but that's not always true in every case. But the thing is that every man, every teenage boy should understand that they have to be respectful to women. I mean, who brought you into the world? A woman. So why would you disrespect a woman? So my thoughts are with you, ladies, and I trust that the entire month, it's almost finished now.
I know.
Has been a rewarding one, and I look forward to the 31st. Your shebang up here.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much, and we really appreciate you hosting.
Yeah, no, and your point is absolutely valid, and it's something that we, as the Family Resource Center, we hold ourselves to high regard in recognizing that, we need to focus on prevention and education, right? So when we talk about issues such as domestic violence, it's really important for us to start having those conversations earlier on in age, right? Whether we're doing healthy relationship workshops with our teenagers, which we did some of that last week at the Tile Lounge, getting into the schools, doing some presentations on bullying and whatnot, because a lot of it really and truly starts in the home. Mm-hmm. Right. So if we can start disrupting that way of thinking of oppression and making somebody feel less than because of whatever reason that may be, I think that's where change begins. Right. But we always say within our workspace, we don't have a magic wand. We do have an individual responsibility as parents, but there's also that collective responsibility. And there's been a lot of talk about, it takes a village and how we've sort of like lost our way along the way around. Where's that village? Where's that village in our community, right? Is it one where, going back to the training that we do, is it one where we hear about it, right, within our neighborhood and whatnot? We recognize that something is not going on, something's not well. A child is presenting as just not themselves generally. We're hearing of abuse and whatnot, but we're not doing anything about it because it's not our business, right? And so a lot of the times people don't want to air their dirty laundry out, right? And don't want others to get caught up in that. But we have that responsibility to our children, right? Our future generation. We have a responsibility to disrupt those conversations and use them as teachable moments so that we're not feeding into that cycle of abuse and just oppression. So I love, what our caller talked about, how obviously he had that model in his life, but that's not the case for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
In our Cayman today, it is extremely diverse, and that means that we're importing culture too, right? And what that looks like, it's showing up in our schools, it's showing up in my workspace, right? It shows up in our clinical setting, in our civil service, whatever the case may be. But we have a responsibility to not just put a cold shoulder on that and recognizing that that's not my issue. It is everyone's issue. At the end of the day, we're all interconnected.
Certainly. We're going to take our last commercial break. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Are you feeling sick but don't feel ill enough to go to the doctor? Ask your pharmacist for advice. Here at West Bay Pharmacy, our pharmacists have been trained to offer helpful, easy to understand advice on the treatment of everyday minor ailments for yourself and all the family. Anything from headaches, cough and sore throat, to cold sores, our pharmacists will know when medical help is needed and will not hesitate to refer you to your doctor if your symptoms demand it. Like doctors, our pharmacists have a professional code, which means all personal information you give them will be treated in the strictest confidence. Visit us today at West Bay Pharmacy, where we care about your health.
Hi, I'm remodeling our bathroom. I have a few questions.
Sure.
What are some ideas to make my bathroom feel larger? How do I know if I'm picking the right vanity? How do I choose a new toilet or a new countertop? Also, the lighting is terrible. Can I put a window or a skylight? And do I really need an exhaust fan?
You've come to the right place. At Brand Source, we custom design kitchen and baths, and our talented design team can help answer your questions. Whether you're looking for a modern, functional family bathroom or a luxurious personal retreat, we'll help create that beautiful space that makes your home yours. And if you're in a rush for a new look and have a limited budget, our ready-to-install bathroom vanities, built with solid wood and countertops of the finest materials, are a quick and easy remodeling solution.
For the very best in custom-designed kitchens and baths, visit Brand Source Home Gallery on Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park, Cayman's Kitchen and Bath Center.
Cayman Turtle Conservation and Education Center invites you to join them on Sunday, April 3rd for their second annual Turtle Crawl 5K Walk and Run. All funds raised from the event will support the conservation of green sea turtles in the Cayman Islands. So come on out and show your support. The second annual Turtle Crawl 5K Walk and Run. Learn more and register now at www.turtlecrawl.ky. Proudly sponsored by HSM, Rotary Central, Advanced Fire Services, Gatorade, and Radio Cayman.
For the record, with Ort Connor.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Ort Connor. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. We're on the last leg of the show this morning. Time goes by so quickly. The conversation we've been having with Ms. Trina Savage, who's from the portfolio of the Civil Service, also from the Family Resource Center, Ms. Charmaine Miller. We're talking about Honoring Women's Month, some of the activities that have taken place so far and some of the activities that are due to take place for the remainder of the month as well. So ladies, back over to you.
Thank you so much. And yes, just to recap, we've been, as a representative of the portfolio of Civil Service, we've been excited to be able to work with the Family Resource Center because the month has been packed with amazing events for all age groups, for every, all for both men and women, and as well as some specific events that are targeted towards the civil servants. So as a really one of the monumental events that I'm excited about is our Honoring Women's Month Parliamentary Luncheon, and we are recognizing past and present women of Parliament. And as we mentioned on one of the breaks, it was only since 1959 that women have had the opportunity to vote, which seems so crazy because the women were left in Cayman actually running the show, which that's why they that was one of the triggers, hey, we're here doing all the work, let's put us at the table. And so it is great that, this time around we've got 5 women out of the 18 in Parliament. So we are seeing some change. We are seeing some women at the table, which is excellent. So we are going to honor them with a luncheon held at the House of Parliament, hosted by the Speaker of the House and Deputy Speaker. And we're doing a significant memorable photo opportunity of those women. So we've hired Will Bignell, I hope I said his name right, I'm sorry, to capture that moment. So we're going to capture those ladies and those who can attend and recognize their efforts in bringing, in breaking the bias of having women at the table. We're also hosting a tea party for civil servants at the Seafarers Hall in conjunction with the Seafarers Association, and that's hosted by the Deputy Governor, Mr. Frans Manderson. And so we will be honoring some of the ladies who served as seafarers. Some of them actually went to sea with their spouses or played a significant role. Right. And we're also recognizing our younger new seafarers, the women who are Coast Guards. So we're going to have some nice fellowship and entertainment recognizing our heritage and our culture, and really as a grand finale for the Honoring Women's Month to come together as a community. And just to touch on what we've been talking about some pretty heavy things this morning, but the fact that we still are a small community, although it's been changed so much, and I'm a perfect example of that, having made this my home since I was 10, but I wasn't born here, but I'm Caymanian enough. And I really feel strongly about the fact that we are a community and we need to take responsibility just like it was back in the day. I mean, I raised my son in West Bay, and I encouraged everyone, like, if you see my son doing something, you make sure you tell him, like, just like you used to. And I do the same. And I'm not afraid, because I do it out of kindness and I do it out of love. I'm not disrespecting anyone, but if I hear someone say something, one of my son's friends, or my son's 23 now, so I'm around all these young men, and if I see something, I do correct them and I do encourage them. I try to guide them as much as I can. So I think it's important for us, as Charmaine was talking about, we all have a responsibility. If we hear a peer disrespecting a woman, if we hear a woman disrespecting another woman or not uplifting her, it is our responsibility to try to change that dialogue and to recognize our role and go back to our roots, which was, if you see someone that that it's your responsibility, because it's our home. Mm-hmm. It's not, we're not in these silos. We really are creating and should be fostering a balanced, healthy community, which means we are recognizing everyone's differences and empowering and creating space. We're not just, we're one because we're together. We're not here as individuals to just be solo. So by human nature, we are one community. So I think it's important for us to learn from each other, notice the biases, and call each other out when we need to.
Absolutely. And start fostering that from early, so that we're empowering our girls and our boys. Mm-hmm. I want to just lastly touch on one of our events that we are having on Wednesday, which is a virtual roundtable discussion that's being held. And we've got some special guests that'll be joining us at 1 o'clock. It's Pamela Green, the Chief Information Security Officer from the Ministry of Planning, Agriculture and Housing, Tina McBean, Deputy Chief Officer of the Cayman Islands Fire Service, Gina Ebanks-Petrie, Director of Department of Environment, Carrie Ann Picard, Deputy Director of Department of Planning. So as you can see, that is a rich lineup of women, right, in fields that maybe predominantly male fields, right, and have pursued their career and are now at a senior leadership position, and they'll be able to impart their knowledge and their own, shared experiences of how they managed to navigate those challenges and what empowered them to be where they're at today. So I encourage all of our listeners to, it is a civil service event, so I'm sure you'll receive a notification through our Outlook just speaking to the details of the event. So please sign on and listen to these women talk about their experiences.
Yeah, that's good. One of the things that I was thinking about also is that there's such a high hurdle that women have to overcome or jump over. And a lot of it has to do with our historical legacy as well, and that being a colony of the United Kingdom and having to deal with issues with them, for instance, their nationality laws. It's only in the 90s and the 2000s, for instance, that you saw, may have been a little bit earlier, where you could obtain your nationality from your mother. Everything was always male-focused and male-dominated. So that in itself sets the foundation for all of
Absolutely.
those other biases that we see taking
And there's
place as
still
well.
some.
Yeah.
And all of the educational materials that we received from them.
Yeah.
And when you look at Indigenous communities, women, have always played a strong role. In fact, some of them were revered as the knowledge keepers from a more, spiritual sense, having that connection. And somewhere along the line, definitely colonization is a huge factor. So we're facing that here as well as many countries around the world. But if we go back to what feels right and what we know that discriminating against our brother or sister doesn't feel right. It doesn't make sense.
Yes.
So if you can go back to that knowing and that sense of we're here to uplift and care for our brothers and sisters and our neighbors, if you go from that place, then that can help, create more consciousness of our how we're speaking to one another, how we're encouraging and uplifting one another. And as I said, it's if we don't notice, because sometimes we're just prescripted,
Yes.
then hopefully our friends and our peers will say, hey, do you realize you just said that? Or, and catch us. And I think that's where the Honoring Women's Month is a beautiful celebration, because a lot of the men joke like, oh, what about us? And I'm like, oh, you get every other day of the year. but in reality, of course men are important, of course we're all we're all here to do our part, but shining a light on these issues for a month long is an opportunity to make us more aware. Certainly. And to hopefully give people the tools and even for me, I've learned some new vocabulary this month. All the time I'm learning so that I can, not continue those biases. And like I said, the younger generation are a great help with that as well. But definitely, we're a community, and we need to be helping each other through this together.
Okay, we have about half a minute left. I want to give both of you an opportunity for some final comments.
Sure.
Closing comments.
For our listeners, we do have 2 more weeks left in the month of March. So please visit our website, frc.gov.ky, and just take a look at the remainder of events that we have and sign up for our webinars. We have a 5K happening this Sunday, as well as our first ever Honoring Women Month pop-up market, which is all about, bringing together female-owned businesses and empower them. It's more than a pop-up market. It's really about a movement of supporting these female-owned businesses. So please check us out. We're on social media, on Facebook, and attend, and we welcome everyone to attend our upcoming events.
Okay. Trina?
And I echo the same sentiments. I check things out in for the civil servants who are listening. Please, I invite you to take part in attending the upcoming tea party on March 31st at 3 p.m. at the Seafarers Hall, and there will be some information through the government channels about how to register for that. And definitely, I want to thank the women who are in leadership roles, including, who I report to, Miss Gloria McField-Nixon, is a great example of someone who is balancing. She's a strong female leader, and there are when we have leaders like this who are leading the charge and carrying that torch. It's an inspiration, and it's a reminder that there's so many women who have so much to bring to the table, and let's encourage them. Let's develop those younger women so that we can see more of that and bring both perspectives, both the male and female perspective, to the table.
Okay, I want to thank both of you for such a lively and informative discussion as well, and wish you both well in your continued efforts during Honoring Women's Month and onward as well. Folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman, and by extension For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, wherever that may be. I also want to remind you that we are our brothers and our sisters' keepers. There is always someone out there who's less fortunate than we are, and I ask you to extend a helping hand to them. If you can't do that, then I suggest you donate to a worthy charity, because we always want to consider those who need, not necessarily those who want or even those who crave. So I say to you, have a great day. Continue to support your radio station, Radio Cayman. Join Sterling Dwayne Banks at 12:15 for Talk Today, and as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these 3 beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the Record is brought to you by Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. Coca-Cola, available across the Cayman Islands from Tortuga distributors. Accept no substitutes. Taste the feeling with Coca-Cola. Brand Source Home Gallery, inspiring luxury. West Bay Pharmacy, taking care of your health. And JN Money.
From abroad to yard.
Fast, affordable, convenient.
Satisfaction is guaranteed 24 hours a day, whether it's music or information.
From Grand Cayman to Cayman Brac to Little Cayman, we've got you covered.